Salve omnes, or hi everybody, this is Mrs. Van, and I wanted to show you a neat little tool that you can use to practice verb conjugations. You need to go to the website magistrula.com/Latin, and it'll bring up a page that looks like this. You're looking in the white part where it says charts and forms. We're going to go to conjugate a verb. You have a choice between regular and intro. I would suggest, since you're Latin 1, that you choose intro, since you're being introduced to Latin right now. And what it'll bring up is a page that looks like this. At the top, you get to choose the options that you will use when you conjugate a verb. So it's already checked indicative and already checked active. What you need to do is choose the tense that you want to conjugate. Right now you guys only know the present tense, so check just the present tense. You also need to choose what types of verbs you're going to conjugate. You have learned how to do first conjugation and second conjugation verbs, so check those. You haven't learned any irregular verbs, so please don't check anything there. These boxes right here, the reason they're checked is they represent the different persons and numbers. So ego is the Latin pronoun meaning I. So this would represent the first person singular. Tu is the second person singular, representing you. Ille is the third person singular, so it means he. Nos is the first person plural, it means we. Vos is the second person plural, and this website does insist that you translate vos as y'all, not just you. That'll be important in a minute. And then finally, illi is the third person plural, and it means they. So what these will do is, instead of having a chart where you have the three persons, 1, 2, 3, going down, and the two numbers, singular and plural, going across, so you have a little 3x2 chart. On this website you have to type everything into a list format, just because they can't make the formatting work on the computer to do the 3x2 chart. What you want to do next is, in this purple box, make sure it says conjugate. For the long marks, you will have to learn them later, but for right now, when you're just practicing, I would just hit none, because you haven't really learned how to use the long marks yet. And then what you would want to do is hit begin. Alright, so what happens when you hit begin is that the website will give you a verb, and it's probably a verb that's not from our textbook, but you can do it anyway. Alright, so our verb here is foveo, which means to foster. And I would suggest that you hit this button here that says vocab help, and what it'll do is it'll bring up all the principal parts for that verb. Once you have those principal parts, you can start practicing conjugating. So remember, we're just typing down in a list rather than 3 down and then 3 down in 2 little columns. And you want to use this box as the first person singular, so we know that this form right here, we can just copy that into the first person singular. Alright, for the rest of these you want to find the stem. So our stem we find by going to the second principal part and taking off the RE. So our stem is fove. And what you'll do, now that you have your stem in all the boxes, is add your endings. So we already have our O, then we have S, T, mus, tis, and nt. Alright, so you've conjugated the Latin forms. This website also lets you practice translating those forms. So they give you the definition up here, it means to foster. So ego, right here, this first person singular, you translate that as I foster. You foster, he fosters, we foster, y'all foster, and they foster. And once you've done all that, you can hit the submit button, and it will check to see how well you did. Okay. So down here it'll tell you what forms you got right by putting a little check mark next to it. If you didn't get it right, it would give you the correct answer here and then your answer here. Alright, so this is a cool little tool you can use to practice conjugations. Since conjugations are so important these first few chapters, it's really good that you know exactly what you're doing and can do these quickly and easily without thinking too much about it. So this website is great for practicing that. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this was useful, and I will see you all later this week. Have a great week, guys.